Okay. Hello everyone. Uh, my name is Abhishek. I am a chartered accountant. I will be taking your CSEET classes, especially accounting is my subject. Okay. So today's class we are starting live of CSEET accounts. So we are going to look the subject and I will be the one who is going to teach you and help you with cracking this subject in your CSEET exams. Okay. Yes. Now let's wait for 2 minutes. Let the students also join. Yeah. I hope whoever have connected, you can just ping in the chat so that we get to know you have connected. It's a live session, so it is beneficial for you. So whoever has connected, please ping in the chat. Okay, let's go. So I'll be discussing the subject called as fundamentals of accounting. Yes. So as you know, accounting is a subject which majority of the students uh, try try to make things difficult for themselves, which is not true. Accounting is a very easy subject provided you understand the concepts very clearly. If your concepts are clear, accounting is a very easy subject. Once you understand the basics of accounting, you are through accounts. Any complicated transaction comes, if you understand the basics very correctly, you will be able to crack the question or your exams or throughout your career, no matter what. So accounts is something which is a permanent book in your brain. So if you learn it once, if you understand the things once, you are good for your life. So any complicated transaction, you will still go back to your basics. You will go through the basics, then automatically that whatever complex transaction is there, you can still break down. So let me start with a brief introduction about what is accounting, how accounting has been come into this world. I mean, how accounts was even introduced to all of us as a humanity, right? So accounts is nothing but, first thing you understand, accounts is a language of business. It is a language of business. So what do you mean by that, sir? What do you mean by that is simple. Accounts is basically the language of business, meaning the entire business. If you want to analyze whether the business is going in the right direction or is it in the going in the wrong direction, or we need any correction in our way of operation of business or anything, accounts will help. So it is a communication, it is a way of communication between you and your business. How your business is going on, you want to understand how the business is running, whether it is running good or whether it is running bad, whether we need to step back in something, whether we need to step up in something. All these things can be understood only when there is a communication between you and the business, and that communication between you and the business is being fulfilled by accounting. So that is why we call accounting as a language of business or business language, because the entire business is always valued based upon numbers, right? Everything is done based upon numbers. If numbers are there not there, then it is not a business. right? So accounting is always business is always valued based upon the numbers, and those numbers are being captured and communicated because of accounts. Understanding? So how did this accounts come? What is the history behind this accounts as to how it was, how this word was coined or termed? See, earlier during our, say for example, 2000, 2500 years earlier, if you go back, there used to be dynasties, monarchy system, right? Everybody remembers kings used to be there. They used to rule a particular region, right? So that particular region, there used to be people living there. They are called as that time, same how we are now public for the government. In the same way, they were public to that particular kingdom. So that king used to look after all the people. Now how we pay taxes to the government, that time the taxes were paid to the kingdom. Sir, what is taxes, sir? Now we know tax is paid in the way of income tax, GST, right? But in those days, that was not how taxes used to work. Those days, what used to happen is, say for example, now we are sitting in Mysore, and our Wadiyar is our king, right? So now what Wadiyar is to do? Wadiyar actually, in fact, in one of the phase, he has almost ruled the dynasty has almost ruled the entire Karnataka, right? So what happened? What Wadiyar is to do? What the kingdom is to do is, so whoever is to fall under the region of that dynasty, so whoever is to fall under that dynasty will usually come under the prominence of that particular kingdom. So what they used to do, say for example, there used to be many farmers. During those days, farming was one of the backbone of the economy, right? So farming was something which was driving the economy. After this post 1995, 1996, the industrialization came into India, the IT gate was opened, all those things. But before that, it was only majorly farming and export of those farmed products, right? So what they used to do, say for example, I had 10 acres of land in Mysore. So what I used to do, I used to cultivate something. Say for example, I cultivated paddy, right? So when I cultivated paddy, I used to go and sell the paddy. Either I used to sell it in the market, or I used to exchange it with other farmer who would have cultivated something different. Correct? I can't sit and eat only rice. So I need something else. Maybe I need vegetables. So what I used to do, I used to go give, say for example, half kg of rice to him, and I used to get some in return. Say for example, I used to get vegetables, or I used to get johar, whatever. Yes. So this is called as barter system, where you don't have money exchange, rather goods are being exchanged with each other. So like that, what kings used to do is, see, your farmland falls under my kingdom, my region, right? So whenever you cultivate something, you need to pay certain percentage of it to me, not by terms of money. You can pay it in terms of the goods. So I, in 10 kg of this thing, if I have produced around 100 kg of paddy, then I used to give, say for example, 10 kg, 20 kg, 30 kg, whatever they would have fixed, we would have given. Understanding everybody? Yes. So now imagine I am having 10 acres and I only give so much, a very small quantity to the king. My accounting or my transaction with the king is very small, right? It is very, you can identify the transaction, you can count the transaction. Now imagine king has complete overview over Karnataka. Now how will you keep the track of all these things, right? How will you keep the track? How the king can collect revenue from everything? See, tax is called as revenue, right? So how this revenue would have been collected from all the places? It would have become difficult for him, right? So thereby what they used to do is, they used to appoint someone called as accountants or revenue collectors. So these accountants or revenue collectors used to go to the places on horse. They used to do the field inspection. They used to inspect how much you have put what crop and how much is the yield you are expecting. Based on that, they used to calculate and give that receipt to them. So once the yield comes out, again the same accountant used to come and collect the tax based upon the actual yield. If whatever earlier yield was there, whatever actual yield is there, if there is any difference, he would have take action on the farmer. If there are justifiable reason, they used to do. So this is how accounting was actually bought into this world, right? Because they need to understand how much is going in what all places. Correct. So what kings used to do, they used to appoint an accountant for particular region. Say for example, for Mysore, you are the accountant. For this, you are the chief revenue collector officer. Right. So his job is to go and collect only the revenue. So like that, he used to keep appointing the people. Now, imagine how far we have come from that point to this point. Earlier, we used to go in horses. Now we are going by cars. Right. Earlier, we used to be accompanied by the soldiers with swords. Now we are just accompanied by the pen. Right. If you sign something, if you qualify something, if you do something, it is taken note of by the government, by the public, by the investor, whoever it is, right? So that is how we have come from that time to this time. So for example, Mauryan dynasty, that used to be covered from Bengal to Afghanistan 2300 years back, from Bengal to Afghanistan. Now tell me, how much land is that? Can king overlook everything? Not possible, right? So that is where the accounting transaction came. And if you remember Chanakya, have you heard about him? Yes. So Chanakya had written Arthashastra. Arthashastra is not only about politics. That Arthashastra covers economics, accounting, auditing, everything. So he was the first one in India to make two posts, two designations. What are those? One is Chief Revenue Collector. Chief Revenue Collector. He was known as Samarthana. One more was Treasurer. He was called as Sannidhata. So what are these two, sir? Why he made two, sir? Because as everybody knows, if entire transaction, all the authority is given to one person, he can do anything with that. Correct or no? Say for example, I am only cash collector and I am only reporting it to the king and I am only utilizing the cash collector. Will there be any accountability? No. So what Arthashastra told is, the chief revenue collector will go and only collect the revenue. Once he collects the revenue, he will come and deposit it with the treasurer. So thereby the maker checker control was established. So somebody is making the transaction and somebody is checking the transaction. Clear? So that is how in our Indian history the accounting got pushed. Then later on, lot of export business started, merchant trading, exports, right? So that time in Gujarat, Rajasthan and all, they started keeping the ledgers called as Bai Khata in their own language, Bai Khata, right? So they used to keep those things recorded. In Bai Khata, what they used to record? How much sales we have done, how much loan we have given, how much purchases we have done, how much payments we have made. Roughly they used to maintain. Like they used to just write down, record the transaction so that they don't forget it. Right? When they are doing transaction in lot of volume, they will tend to forget. If everything is stored in our brain, we'll tend to forget. Exactly, right? Say for example, if I ask you 3 days before, what did you have for breakfast? Anybody knows? Anybody remembers? Nobody knows. Nobody will remember. Right? Anybody, if they know, you can even comment it. Right? We just sit and for 3 minutes we have to think what we had exactly 3 days for breakfast. Say for example, on Sunday morning, what did you have breakfast? Sunday morning, people might still remember, especially in South Indian parts, because one though they will do masala dosa, yeah, or straight away non-veg, baduta. Correct or no? So two things, if it is there, they will remember. But if I ask one step forward, Saturday, what did you have? They will forget. Right? So like that, if you assume, how can the things be remembered? So that is why they started something called as Bai Khata, where they started to record the transactions. Now, slowly what happened? This type of transactions, which they used to record in the books, they are nothing but single entry system. What entry system? Single entry system. Single andre ಏನು sir? They used to just make a note. Correct? One single entry. Yes. So I have purchased from him. I have purchased from him. I have purchased from him. Single entry they used to do. Yes, that is how single entry system was there. It was in existence. Not only in our country, in many countries it was in existence, because everybody started. See, in our country it was called as Bai Khata. In other countries it was called with some other name. Clear? Now, slowly what happened in Venice is a place in Italy. There also merchant trading used to happen in a voluminous way. Lot of transactions used to happen. So there what they did is, they actually were the first civilization which tried to adopt something called as double entry system. What? Double entry system. But the problem was, nobody was able to explain what exactly is double entry system. They were doing it, but they didn't know how to explain it to the world as to how double entry. This is where there was a person named Luca Pacioli. So, or Pacioli, whatever it is, you can call whatever you want to. That person introduced double entry system. He was not the one who actually invented that system. No, he was the one who actually explained that system, how it actually worked, because he was a mathematician basically, kind of. So he could explain how it actually worked, the double entry system. So from there we started with double entry accounting. Clear? So that is how the double entry system was introduced. Then later on, as and when the centuries passed, right, as and when more modernization came, more trade happened. Apart from see, earlier every country used to be majorly focusing on farming. Now slowly that shifted. Software came, trading came, so many things came. So as and when the century, from this century to next century, there are a lot of changes. Right? Say before 20th century, 21st century, where was computer? Right? Nobody. Where was mobile? Correct. So after 20th century, 21st century, now forget about computers and mobile. Now AI. Who knows? In the next century, it might be robotics. By the next century, human beings would have been already killed, but their mind would have still been in the possible. Anything is possible, right? In Australia, there is a company which is already storing the dead human beings for future revival. They think in future technology will come where they can revive human beings. So they pay, in fact, you have to pay the money to store your body after you die. Understanding? So God only knows whether it is possible, whether it is not possible, nobody knows. But they are hoping for it. Right? Some people even say, no, henceforth going forward, the death will be only bodily. So we only die by physically. But everything, our brain, everything, I mean our memories, everything, our thinking pattern, everything gets stored in some machinery. Like a robot. So even after death, he still will be present in that. If you anybody have watched this one Tamil movie was there, I don't remember the name. Love Time or something. The new actor Pradeep Ranganathan is very famous. He has come up with some new movie, not recent one. It is 2-3 years back. So in that movie, if you see, it is more about robotics, AI, and everything. Correct. So they have shown one scene where the villain has put his father's memories and psychology into a robot. So that robot is always with him. Yeah, kind of chitty. Yes or no? So that is how the world may change, may not change, right? So likewise, what happened because of this change in the nature of transactions being evolved, accounting also got evolved. So from double entry, there came accounting assumptions, accounting conservations, accounting conventions, accounting policies, correct? Accounting principles, conventions, accounting standards, IFRS, GAAP, so many things came up. All because of what? Because of the complexity of the transaction. Earlier, before like say 10-15 years back, IFRS was not there. IFRS is a standard, International Financial Reporting Standard. So those are standards which are applicable internationally. Any company can adopt them. Earlier it was not there. People used to not adopt that transaction. Even if it was prescribed, people used to not voluntarily take up adopting that standards. But people have started slowly adopting it. Why? Now cross-border transactions are increasing. Cross-border investors are coming. Right? Say for example, Facebook invested in Reliance, Meta. Right? I think everybody remembers in COVID, they purchased shares of Reliance. So like that cross-border transactions happen. Say for example, if we follow only Indian accounting standards and we prepare the accounts, will the person sitting in US be able to understand what is the standards of US? Right? So no, if we say I want to invest in a US company, say you want to invest in Meta company. Now you open their balance sheet, you try to understand, you will not understand anything. Why? Because you don't know their accounting standards. Correct or no? Their way of accounting. So what they do to eliminate this difference, they bought a standard which can be applied to both. So this is how accounting kept on progressing. So it may progress further. Now we have AI called as Claude, right? Everybody, I think everybody has heard. I don't know how many of you have used it. If you have not used it, you should start using it, and you should start using it for your benefits rather than making some wastage out of it. So in Claude, if you don't believe, now it has reached the stage where accounting is done by Claude. All I have to do is give it a prompt. I have to upload documents. I have to tell it, this is the document. You need to pass an entry in Tally. It will pass. You need to pass an entry in Zoho. It will pass. Nothing. Simple. Now earlier we used to struggle with accounting. Bank entries, we used to say, for example, a person will have 10,000 transactions in bank. Can you imagine entering 10,000 manually? So now in between a system came where we could have uploaded that 10,000 entry one shot to the Tally. So that itself was the biggest relief for we practitioners, whoever, CA, CS, everything. So that was a big relief. We thought this is great invention, this is great development. Now one step ahead, 4 steps ahead. Now you don't even think earlier that 1,000 transactions we used to upload. After uploading, still we used to sit and classify those transactions. Now that also we don't need to. Upload the bank statement, give the rules to the Claude. Claude will do everything. Claude already knows your accounting. It knows when to debit, when to credit, what to debit, what to credit. You don't have to teach it. Now if I take an staff, I need to handhold him. First I need to explain what is debit, what is credit, when it is debit, when it is credit. Claude knows already. Now what is there? Give the access. Give your bank statement, give your Tally access, give your software, whatever you use, give the access, it will do the accounting. So you just have to sit and review, right? So we don't know how the now for that, again some law may come because of the data privacy. Correct or no? Data privacy can be exploited. So already in India they introduced DPDT Act. So Data Privacy and Data Protection Act. So all those will slowly it will come. Slowly it will emerge. So we are always an evolving beings, right? So that is how it changes. So that is how your accounting is born, or how it keeps evolving, right? So in your subject, we are going to understand accounting from the basic perspective and how it is evolved and how we also need to evolve according to the subject, right? Everybody is following me? Yes. Now, so this is your total syllabus for accounts. So first chapter starts with your basic concepts, principles of accounting. So this is nothing but in this chapter we'll be covering what exactly is accounting. What is the need of accounting? How accounting will help us? What are the terms and terminologies used in the accounting? Right, if I don't give this chapter and straight away go to accounting, I'll straight away talk about debit and credit. Will you be able to understand? No. So this chapter will help you to first understand the language. I mean, what terminologies we use in accounting, what are the words, and what is the meaning of those words. Correct? So this chapter will discuss all those things. Like it is nothing but a foundation to your entire subject. Clear? Next chapter will be accounting process. Now you understood the terminologies as to what are the things, what are the names we use in accounts. Now using that, now okay, all the terminologies are understood. Now how do you actually account it, right? How debit is worked, how credit is worked, when will pass debit, when will pass credit, that will be done that will be learned in the chapter accounting process. The next will be your bank reconciliation statement. Bank reconciliation statement is nothing but whenever we do the accounting as per the books, and whenever we take the bank statement, the bank balance in your books and the balance in your banks will be having a difference. Why, sir? Can anybody tell me why in the comment? Yes? Can anybody tell me why it can be? Comments are open. Even students can answer. Why there can be differences? Now, how many of the students daily check their bank balance? Not daily. Nobody can check the bank balance every day, right? Neither you can check, neither I can check. So suddenly what happens, say, now everybody has GPay, phone pay, right? You don't even know how much you are spending, first case. Correct? Yeah. Send. One fine day, you are sending, it shows insufficient balance. That is when heart attack will come. Insufficient. Just 2 days back, my father had given me 1,000 rupees. Where did it go? In your mind, how much was the balance? Sir, 300. Correct or no? Roughly, you will say, sir, 300 would have been the balance, sir. As per my mind. But as per bank statement, where did it go? BRS, sir? Difference between your mind and the bank statement? What happened? One, while you calculate your balance, you would have missed some transactions. Correct or no? Say, for example, you might have ordered food for yourself and you forgot to take account of it in your mind. Correct? Yes. Or you might have spent on an auto. You forgot about it. Correct? But in bank, they don't forget. No, whenever you send the money, it gets automatically captured. It would have been great. Correct or no? But they don't forget. No, it is system based. So they capture it. Now what? That is the difference. Right? So in the same way, what happens between books, bank balance and actual bank balance is nothing but some transaction might have been missed. For example, bank charges. Correct? Say if bank has already charged some bank they may charge SMS charge, minimum balance maintain charge, check issue charges, passbook issue charges. Correct or no? You must have seen all application charges. Correct? So what are these charges? These charges get reflected only when you take the bank statement, actual bank statement. Correct? If you don't take the actual bank statement, how will you understand these charges? Correct or no? So while you are preparing books of account, you would have never seen the bank statement. No, what you will do in your books of account, you will see whatever check I am issuing, I'll record. Whatever check I have received, I'll record. Bank charges, I don't know. Till I get the statement, I will not know whether bank charges are there or not. So those things will create reconciliation requirement. Right? Because the bank balance between your books and the bank balance actually in the bank statement is different. So how to reconcile and why differences will come or how differences will come in will be understood in BRS, and how we can match both the balances will be discussed in this chapter. Then the next chapter is depreciation and amortization. So there is something called as, in every business, there is something called as assets. Under that also there is something called as fixed assets. Now don't worry what is asset, what is fixed asset, we'll discuss, but I'm just telling you. So on that fixed assets and on those assets, see fixed assets, say for example, this mic itself can be a fixed asset. This tab itself can be a fixed asset. This camera is a fixed asset. See what happens, the camera when I purchased, or best example, your phones when you purchase, how it functions upon? Super smooth, excellent condition. I am loving it. Yes or no? 6 months passed. Hanging. Camera is not working. Sir, green line. Correct? Huh? Even I have one. In one of my phone. Right? So how it happens? It is because of wear and tear. As and when you keep using it, the asset will get deteriorated. Right? So to capture that deterioration or reduction in the value, we charge something called as depreciation. Sir, what is amortization then? Amortization is on assets which cannot be physically seen. Sir, example, software. Can you see software? Can you touch software? Physical attributes are not there. Whereas camera, I can touch it, I can feel it, I can see it. Right? So depreciation is charged on assets which has physical attributes. Such assets are called as tangible assets. What assets? Tangible assets. So which has physical attributes. Which doesn't have physical attributes are called as intangible assets. So intangible assets, amortization. Tangible assets, depreciation. Then next is preparation of final accounts for sole proprietorship. See, till now, what your institute is trying to do is, it is preparing you. Preparing you for what? Preparing you to enter the world of accounts. So they are teaching you step by step, step by step, step by step. This is this, 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 this. Now what they are telling? Now you put all the steps in one. Understanding? So when we are small babies, first when we keep one step, parents will be happy. Wow, 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 wow. Claps, everywhere claps. The video recording, uploading in the social media, first step, hashtag, everything, right? Yes. Next, within 15 days, they want you to walk from here to there. Correct? Yes? That is how. So what your institute do? Step by step, step by step, step by step, they will all teach. Then they want you to put everything into one sum or one question, one answer, right? So that is where you will start with your preparation of final accounts for sole proprietorship. So under this chapter, you will try to put all the things which you have learned in the previous chapters. Clear, everybody? Yes. Next is your partnership and LLP accounts. One of the most favorite chapter of all the students. In what way? I am not telling directly it is a favorite chapter, but it is a not exactly a favorite chapter. Students actually don't like it because it is one is very huge and other is it is little bit complex in between, right? So it is actually a favorite chapter only, let's say. Why? Because we will going to make it favorite chapter no matter what. We'll break the concept so easily that it is going to become your favorite chapter, and you will be so confident that you will be able to write the exam aram se, without any stress. Clear? That is our goal. Next, introduction to company accounts. Now you have been taught all the things, no? Now whatever basics you have learned, now they divide into two parts. One, they divide into non-company entities. One, they want you to come to company entities. So till now you are going for non-company entities. Now they asked you to put all the perspectives into non-company entities. Okay sir, done sir, non-company entities, now we are good. Now institute one level up. Now we'll give you company entities. Now how do you account for company entities? That is covered under introduction to company accounts. Am I clear? Yes. Next will be accounting for non-profit organization. This is actually a favorite chapter. Why? Very small, very quick. Clear? Easy chapter also. Understanding? So all these things will be covered in our CSEET free classes, live classes. So attend every day. Don't miss the classes. Yes. Okay. Now, today we'll just, as we all got introduced to the accounting, we'll continue the first chapter and we'll understand certain small points about accounting. Right? Yes. Now, what is the meaning of accounts? Meaning of accounting. You can give examples in the comment. You can say whatever you understand about accounts, whatever it is. What is accounts? Why accounting? What is the meaning of accounting? I don't want definition. I'm just asking what is, whatever idea you have, you can put it. Yes. What is accounts? What is accounting? What exactly? Transaction? Recording of transaction. Okay. So accounting, they are telling, so recording of transaction is called as accounting. Okay. Measured in monetary terms. Okay, good. So a student is telling accounting means recording of the transaction, sir, and it will be usually measured in monetary terms. Okay, good. Then, so what you are trying to say is, sir, first there should be a transaction. Correct? So what you are doing, first you are identifying a transaction. First step is what? Identification, whether there is any transaction or not. So accounting covers identification of whether there is a transaction or not. Second, whether the transaction is in the nature of money measurement. That means what? The transaction should be in terms of money. The transaction should be in terms of money. Say for example, it should not be like a transaction where there is a feelings involved. It is a transaction where money is involved. Clear? Say for example, your friend says, I am always with you. Can you record it? No. Correct or no? Transaction is there, sir. He's exchanged love towards you. Your friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, exchange of love is there. But can it be measured in terms of money? Sir, in today's world, it can be measured, sir. No, it cannot be. Correct or no? So, transaction, every transaction is not comes into accounting. It doesn't fit into accounting. So, what fits into accounting? Transactions which can be expressed in terms of money. So, love cannot be expressed in terms of money. Hate, no. Anything in exchange of kind, no. Anything done as a good deed, no. Duddu, sir. Correct? You should have money. If money is there, then only such transaction qualify for accounting. Clear? Yes, everybody? Yes. So now, one is you are identifying the transaction. The next one is you are recording the transaction and you are measuring the transaction. Correct or no? First you will identify, after identifying you will check whether it is as per the money or no. If it is there, you will measure it, then you will record it, then communicate it. Communicate to whom? To whom will communicate? We will communicate it to the users of that particular information or transaction. Sir, artha aglila sir, simple. See, when I do sales, I record the sales. Why sir? Sales is in money's term, correct or no? Money's worth is there. It is an economic activity. So when I do sales, I will record that transaction. Correct. I will identify the transaction first. Sales is a transaction. I identified the transaction. Now I will check whether money is there. Yes, money is there. So yes, money is there. Tick. So next I will record the transaction. Okay. Now, what is the use of recording this transaction? Ultimately, what is the use? You identified, you measured in money, you recorded the transaction. What is the use? Why you need to know what is sales? To determine whether we are doing profit or loss. Correct or no? You need to understand, no? See, ultimately, as I told you, what is accounting? It is language of business. So this is how business will communicate to you whether we are going in the right direction or not. So whether we are achieving the sales, whatever we have kept as a target, whether we are making profit. Say for example, in my mind, I have decided I want to sell 10,000 worth of goods. So if you don't account it, how will you know whether you have sold or no? Correct or no? Yes. So communication. So that means what the primary goal of, one of the primary goal of accounts is communicate the results. Communicate the transaction whichever happened. So one thing what they will do is, it will communicate to us, sir, we have achieved sales of 8,000. Now what was your target? 10,000. Achieved how much? 8,000. Good or bad? Not good. At least you would have touched 10,000. Good. If you would have crossed 10,000, excellent, outstanding. Sir, below 10,000, sir, 9,500. Okay, good, not bad. Now 8,000 is missed by 2,000 rupees. It's a big target. It's a big miss, right? So this is how accounting. This is just the general meaning of accounting. So how exactly accounting works? Why exactly accounting needed? Okay, so first we will identify, measure, record, communicate. Yes, everybody is clear. Now this is the meaning of accounting. It is like a layman language. So if you want anybody to know what is accounting, you can explain it with examples. Correct? This is how a layman will understand. Now you are not layman, right? You are all company secretary, going to be company secretary. Now students, but you are going to become company secretary, right? So tell me, what is accounting definition? Now the same thing which you told will be put in the perspective of a definition. So what is accounting? Accounting is nothing but process of recording, identifying, recording, measuring. No, this is the meaning. I am asking about the definition. Identifying, recording, good. Classifying, summarizing, clear? So accounting is identifying, recording, classifying, summarizing, interpreting. You can call it as a process or art of. It is an art. So they say accounts is an art. What art? The art where you identify the transaction, you record the transaction, you classify the transaction, you summarize those transactions, and you interpret those transactions. So this big, sir. How to remember, sir? I will help you. Now let's break down this definition into small parts so that you understand. Now when I go and purchase something from, say, West Side, right? I bought 10 shirts from West Side. Yes. Now when you purchase 10 shirts from West Side, are you doing any transaction here? Yes or no? You purchase shirts from West Side, so you are transacting here. Correct or no, everybody? Now my question is, you identify this as a transaction? Yes sir, I identified this as a transaction because there is Money also, sir, involved in this. Okay, now I purchased 10 shares from West Side. I identified this as a transaction. Now what I do is I need to record also, right or no? You want to know, say for example, your father gave you 5,000 pocket money. At the end of the month, your father will ask, show me wherever you have spent. How will you do? You have to write somewhere that I have spent so much on so much on so much on so. Correct or no? So first thing what I did, I purchased West Side. I remembered, I purchased West Side. So transaction is there. Money is involved. So first I will remember, identify the transaction. Next what you will do, if you have a small book or in your mobile there is something called as notes app. Correct? So there you will go and write down purchase of shirts. Correct? That is called as recording. Correct or no? You recorded that particular transaction. It can be in small book, it can be in app, it can be in notes, whatever form, but you are recording. Correct or no? You mentioned the transaction. You permanently stored that transaction somewhere. Correct? Yes. So you recorded the transaction. Clear? Now, say for example, he has given you how much of 5,000 beginning in the pocket money. Now, he will ask you one question. In 5,000, you did what all? Tell me the brief. He doesn't want to go through every transaction. He will say, I want to know brief. I don't have time. If you say, sir, Dad, I spent 10 rupees on tea, 10 rupees on biscuit, 20 rupees on breakfast, what you will do? Don't do like that. Tell me where all you spent. Heads. He wants to know the category of expenditure. For example, fooding is 2, fueling is 2, shopping this much. Correct or no? Everybody? Yes. So all these things you can categorize the transaction. Right. So what this classifying is nothing but putting those transactions into certain categories. So purchase of clothes will come where apa? Shopping. So drinking of tea, food. Gaadi ke petrol, fuel. Correct? Everybody? Yes, everybody is understanding? Yes. So this is called as classifying the transaction. Yes. Now you classified the transaction apa? Fuel, food, that, this, everything you classified. Correct? Now all the classification you want to put into one place, one page. Correct or no? Because your transaction would have run in 100 pages. Why nowadays we do 5 rupees also phone pay, 10 rupees also phone pay, 3 rupees also phone pay. Correct or no? Everybody is doing it, including me. Right? So what happens? Now you recorded the transaction, you identified, you recorded. Now what you do? You even classified them. Now you want to put it everything in one page. So that is called as summarizing. What? Summarizing. Now you summarized. Now you give this to your father. Correct? Now you summarized, you give this father. Now your father will sit and see where expenditure is high, where expenditure is low. He will judge how you are spending your money. If you are spending too much money on the shopping, he may judge you saying that why you are purchasing every month so much. If you are spending too much on fuel, then if it is a boy, he will start suspecting whether he has a girlfriend. Correct or no? Roaming around the town. Or the second is, he is going with his friends gang only, but whether those friends gang are correct. Next judgment. Correct or no? Everybody? If he is spending more on food, take interlink. Fuel jasti, food jasti. Girlfriend, one option. Second option, friends. Correct or no? So next what he will do? He will keep his persons to look out for you. Then the information will start flowing. Correct? So this is how they interpret the transaction. So you understood the example. First we will identify the transaction. While he gave you petty cash, I mean the pocket money, you identify the transaction which will all fall under that. Say for example, your girlfriend is more richer than you. She spent all the money. Will it come under your identification? No, it is not mine. Leave it. Correct or no? So only those transactions which relate to you and your money. Correct? You identified those transactions. You recorded those transactions. After recording, you classified those transactions into categories: food, fuel, etc., travel, all. Then you summarize it to one page, present it to your father. Your father interpreted the results. Clear? So that is the definition of accounts. So just to summarize what all we said, we understood what is the meaning of accounting, what is the history of accounting, what is the definition of accounting. and what was the chapters which will be discussed in our classes. So for today, that's it. Today we will be ending the class for this much topic. From next class, we will take at least 2 hours and we'll try to cover the concepts as it comes. So be ready for the next class. Come with a Josh. Yes. So let's crack CSEET. Let's ensure that you crack this exam with a very good score and without crying over the subject. With a smile, you should write this answer sheet. Clear? Yes. Okay, guys. Thank you.